3 Australian soldiers have been killed in Afghanistan by a gunman wearing Afghan National Army uniform. The incident happened yesterday in Oruzgan Province, where Australia leads the international contingent. The deaths bring the number of Australians killed in Afghanistan to 36. Let's go to political correspondent Greg Jennett, who is in Canberra. So, Greg, what more can you tell us?
Ros, it seems that late at night on a base in Afghanistan, in Oruzgan Province, as you indicated, what appears to be a member of the Afghan National Army has attacked his Australian colleagues, killing 3, and there are suggestions that 2 others were wounded. Now, there's been no formal announcement from Defence yet. They're still, as we understand it, trying to contact the families of those involved. An announcement is expected a little later involving the Vice Chief of the Defence Force. Now, the Prime Minister, she's in the Cook Islands and has cancelled 2 events to get a briefing on this incident. But at home, the Veterans Affairs Minister, Warren Snowden, has condemned what he calls unacceptable and very unnecessary deaths, while the opposition leader, Tony Abbott, has offered his condolences.
3 Australian soldiers have been killed as a result of a green on blue incident, and 2 have been injured. This happened at around 10:30 on Wednesday evening in Afghanistan at a base. I'm unclear as yet as to the circumstances of it, but it's a very dreadful tragedy, and my sympathies go to the families of those brave men.
This is a black day for our military forces, and our thoughts and prayers are obviously with those who have been killed and with their comrades and their families.
So, Greg, if an Afghan army member is found to be responsible, it means that the number of attacks by members of the Afghan army or police on allied forces are increasing.
They are. This would bring to 7 the number of Australian deaths in so-called green on blue attacks, 4 last year and 3 this year. But more disturbingly for the coalition forces, there is a very strong pattern here. They are no longer dismissed as random events. The coalition in total has lost in the last year or so some 45 troops to green on blue attacks. So there's questions here around what they call force protection, how you mitigate against those risks. But also, and perhaps most disturbingly for those on the front line, it cuts very much to the question of trust. That is, how do the coalition forces go out and go about their work, accompanied by ANA soldiers, when, at any turn, seemingly, they may turn against you.
And this news comes after the deaths last week of 3 New Zealand Army soldiers, including a female soldier. Greg, this all increases the pressure on governments to withdraw their troops.
It at the very least raises questions about how much longer you persist with your stated transitions and timelines. It had a profound effect on the nation of New Zealand, the deaths of its 3 by IED explosion last week. But for Australia's part, the current timeline would stand, which is that our mission is about transitioning the 4th Brigade of the Afghan National Army, and that we look towards withdrawal in 2014. I'd be very surprised when we hear from the Prime Minister and others if this would alter any language on that timeline.
Greg, thank you.
Thanks, Rob.